Hello, this is Dr. J back with some more Let's Play Command and Conquer. We see the GDI is making some new incursions into Morocco and Egypt here in Africa. But we are going to press into Zaire.
Nod research indicates the following. Humans in GDI-friendly territories are suffering respiratory problems in significant numbers. Tiberium also has a profound negative impact on human immune and reproductive systems. Still unknown is the extent to which Tiberium affects human DNA. Nod analysts predict 3 out of 5 humans will suffer Tiberium-related illnesses within the next 3 years. End transmission. Stand by.
Well done. You are truly becoming Kane's favorite. How would you like to ensure your place in the highest echelons of Nod? Surely you are ambitious enough to take on a mission of tremendous magnitude. Your goal is so secret, even Kane knows nothing of it yet. You see, power shifts quickly in the Brotherhood. I've taken the liberty of dispatching your troops to the U.S. Kane has been loath to attack America, but I feel that it's time, and that you're the one to do it. This is the Pentagon. A full frontal attack with your strongest forces should render their military center of operation.
Yes. Power shifts more quickly than some people think. I am Kane. When I get your troops back from the States, I want you to take what men you have left and secure this abandoned GDI base. Once in, build up an arsenal of weapons and use them to wipe out the remaining GDI presence. Oh, and congratulations on your promotion.
That is another one of the most memorable moments from this game. It's such an awesome, shocking moment when Kane just shoots Seth right in the back of the head. A really good introduction to Kane for the Nod campaign, and major props to Joe Kukin for his portrayal of Kane. Really comes across as having a lot of charisma. Now, it is unclear to me at least whether Seth legitimately was trying to pull off some kind of coup and decided that he wanted to send our forces to attack the United States, or if that was just his way of trying to take us out of the picture by sort of framing us for unilaterally going rogue and doing an attack on the United States when we weren't supposed to, and then, you know, he would present that to Kane and hopefully get us executed for going off and doing our own thing. Could be either. Hard to say. In either case, it's not a plan that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't think that you could just land a bunch of heavy forces uncontested on the shores of the United States and then roll them up to the Pentagon and launch a full frontal assault quite so easily. It would make more sense if there were like a bunch of sleeper agents ready to do some kind of uprising within the United States, but I really don't think you could just so easily launch a major military invasion. Alright, so since we're low on troops, thanks to Seth sending our heavy forces off to the US like an idiot, we are going to have to make use of all available resources, locate an abandoned GDI base in the area and restore it to operational status, then use GDI's own weapons against them. Be sure that no GDI forces remain alive. So this is another of the really puzzly missions. At least at first. Later it will turn into a fairly standard base building missions. But the first part is somewhat puzzly. And this is sort of Nod's equivalent to when GDI is low on funding, due to the UN pulling their funding thanks to all the Nod propaganda. Okay, I think we've lost because of that squish. This is sort of the point in the story where Nod has to deal with not having any resources available. And yeah, I do believe we have lost. That was an incredible squish by that tank. And this sounds like I'm just making up an excuse, but I actually did go to select that team and just nothing happened. Which occurs with my keyboard sometimes. It's like it buffers the input, and then nothing happens, and then you hit another key and it sends both keys at once, because it is a wireless keyboard. And it's kind of a crap one, to be honest. So I do think my keyboard's lousy buffering behavior screwed me over a little bit there. It meant that there was enough of a delay trying to pull my troops back from getting squashed that, well, it was too slow. Okay, do not provoke the medium tank into squashing us this time. Okay, this is going much better. So yeah, we're going to have to figure out a way to defeat an entire GDI force with very minimal forces available to us. Okay, and we got completely wiped out by those GDI Grenadiers, one of whom was sneakily hiding behind that tree. Okay, we've lost again. Honestly, the very first part of this mission is by far and away the most difficult. Once we clear this part, the rest is going to be relatively straightforward, pretty by the numbers, but well, this is one of those parts where you just need a lot of careful micromanagement and some luck to get your units through this difficult first part of the mission intact, because you have almost nothing to work with. Okay, come on, where's the tank? There it is. Looks like we're going to have to spread our forces out to... Hey, are you taking a smoke break or what? Go help your friends. Okay, looks like we're going to have to spread our mini gunners out so they don't all get slaughtered by the Grenadiers. Get in there and attack, 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 attack. Okay, looks like we did it this time. We get a Chinook helicopter, and then a drop zone flare reveals the GDI base we need to capture. Now the puzzly bit is we have no money, and we have no engineers, so what do we have to do? Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. What's this guy doing? Stop that. Good lord. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and make a save here just so we don't have to do that opening bit again if we mess it up. Okay, now, I mean, this isn't exactly super hard to figure out, but what you have to do is sell your construction yard and use the proceeds to build some engineers, and if you're lucky, you might get an engineer out of the construction yard itself. Now, something to note is that when you put units in a transport, they will emerge from the transport in the reverse of the order that they went in, which makes perfectly good sense when you think about it. Which means we're going to put the engineers in first, so that they will emerge last once we unload the transport helicopter. Okay, now let's go ahead and make our save here. And we are going to leapfrog over the river with our transport helicopter, unload, and we need to try to take this GDI base. I mean, it's really not much of a base. Okay, I need you all to fight that guy. Thank you. Oh, there's more guys coming, and the harvester's back already. That was quick. Okay, that is not an engineer that I have selected. Okay, that went really, really poorly. I'm kind of getting screwed over by the fact that the resolution is so tiny on my screen I cannot tell the difference between my troops. I legitimately could not tell what were minigunners and what were engineers, because they're just tiny, tiny little pixels on the screen. Okay, that's an engineer. Oh no. Oh, you idiots. They attacked the harvester, which I didn't even want them to do, because we're going to be stealing it. Okay, we got the enemy's refinery. Alright, suddenly we're getting swarmed by enemies. Alright. Okay, we have their construction yard. Let's repair our facilities up here, and we need to start building stuff down at this base so that we can secure it. The enemies are idiots, so instead of swarming and destroying us, as they clearly could have done, they are determined to target our forces up here to the north. I'm going to go ahead and produce a sacrificial lamb. Okay, we can't have that rocket soldier destroying our harvester. But yeah, most of the enemy forces, the AI is just bugging out. It is determined to attack our northern force. Of course, it cannot, because they can't get across the water. So it's very lucky for us that the AI is being so... Okay, and then our guys are also being stupid, so it all evens out. Hey, here's an idea. Instead of sitting there, taking the rockets to the face, maybe go kill the guy who's shooting at you, idiots. Oh my goodness. Cheeky swine. Alright, let's build a couple of grenadiers for scouting purposes. Man, Rocketeer is just trying to shoot my guys from afar all over the place. It's irritating, but it's not particularly effective. Okay. Area secured for the moment. However, we can't rely on all of the enemies just perpetually trying to target our guys across the river. They might eventually attack our base, so we need some defenses. That means let's put up a guard tower. You see that there's more Tiberium down there. We're going to need that, I'm sure. More Humvees on patrol. Okay, they're attacking us. Okay, tons of Humvees. I do remember that the AI goes nuts producing Humvees on this mission. I don't know why, but they do. I mean, I'm sure they're just scripted to do that. I guess what I'm saying is I don't know why they're scripted to do that.
Building. Unit ready. Building.
I hear the sound of a grenadier. Oh, they're attacking my harvester. Okay, so I think what I want to do is base crawl my way down here and build another refinery in that direction.
Building.
It's annoying when the enemy kites you like this. Okay, fine, leave.
Construction complete.
Works for me. Bye. In Red Alert, I believe that they had improved the programming in a variety of ways. One of the ways in which they improved it was they would actually identify non-contiguous zones on the map, which, like, this would be separate from this whole area because of the river. And the AI was then smart enough to realize that it couldn't get from one unconnected zone to another. And so it wouldn't do incredibly stupid stuff like be forever trying to send its forces up to attack units or buildings that it can't reach. So that was a good AI improvement. There were quite a few of them in Red Alert. But this game doesn't have that particular AI improvement in it, and as a result, there's going to be a number of missions, especially in the Nod campaign, where the AI just kind of bugs out like this, and it's very helpful for us, but it's a little silly. Okay, we have a Humvee who... Okay, so when we attacked this power plant, the Humvee became angry with us, and it was no longer bugged out and decided to come out and try to protect this power plant. Now I'm just going to use an engineer to capture it. You know what? Apparently that's actually going to be easier than destroying it, which is stupid, but seems to be the way it is. Come on, seriously?
GDI building captured.
I will sell the power plant I just got so I can finish construction of this frickin' guard tower. Die, please. Oh, and there was a grenadier just hiding there behind my refinery. That's hilarious. Okay. Oh, and there's another Tiberium field right here.
Unit lost.
Yep, I thought that sounded like the napalm of an airstrike. Next sacrifice, line up. Go harvest this field, please. Now, the situation is temporarily stabilized, even though there's more Humvees on Eternal Patrol. So I think that we are ready to start building some kind of attack force. The enemy does have orcas in this mission, which is irritating because that would be easier to deal with if we were Nod, because we would just use recon bikes. As it is, however, we don't have recon bikes because we only have access to GDI units, because we had to steal a GDI base in this mission. That means that our mobile anti-aircraft force is going to have to be rocket soldiers. Fight back.
Unit lost. And
of course, rocket soldiers. This is so dumb. And of course, rocket soldiers are very, very slow.
Construction.
Go sort out that Humvee for me, please. Alright, finally we can start building vehicles. And I think for faster economy, I am going to build yet another refinery. There's a fair amount of Tiberium scattered around. Well, that's a pretty amusing dance that medium tank is doing. More of the AI bugging out. There's also a pair of gunboats patrolling around the river here to the south. They won't be too hard to deal with once we build a few medium tanks, but they will make mincemeat out of any light vehicles or infantry that we send into their range. So we'll want to keep that in mind.
Unit reporting. Moving out.
Actually, you know what? I think I'll keep the rest of those guys there as sacrifices. You can see why I want the third refinery. Our income is still kind of slow, just because the Tiberium fields are all so far away from our base. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, they won't be able to do too much damage to it.
Construction complete.
We'll start out by having this guy harvest from here, because it's closer, and then he'll go to that patch when that one is empty.
Building.
Now, let's start building some Humvees of our own. They will be scouts / a killing squad for enemy infantry.
Construction complete.
I think 3 of them should be adequate to the purpose, and that's a medium tank. Okay, he has it out for the Humvee for some reason.
Construction complete. Building.
Alright, the enemy's launching an assault from all kinds of directions, and okay, he's bugging out and still they're all bugging out and still determined to attack our base to the north. You know, this would be a more exciting and difficult mission if the AI was not hilariously bugging out like this, but I guess we will accept that this is going to hand us a slightly easier win.
Building.
As long as they continue to be obsessed with our forces across the river.
Construction complete.
A communication center should complete our essential buildings. Now, a communication center isn't really essential exactly, but it's very helpful having the mini-map whenever the map is significantly larger than our screen resolution. Okay, yet more Tiberium here, guarded by a medium tank. Let's go get this infantry. The medium tank really hates us, it seems.
Building.
There we go. Oh, we found a whole squad of infantry here. Too many for our scout force to deal with.
Construction complete.
Alright, time to just start cranking out medium tanks. Maybe an APC and a couple engineers for the classic engineer drop.
Unit lost.
Honestly, I just want to find the enemy base. I know it's here in the lower left. Or southwest, rather. Oh, we found the enemy orcas. And there's the enemy base, and I believe this is our first look at an advanced guard tower.
Complete.
That is GDI's advanced base defense. It is nowhere near as powerful as an obelisk. It's kind of versatile in that
Building.
it's effective against infantry, light vehicles, and aircraft. However, it's not particularly good against heavy vehicles. And GDI's other base defense, the guard tower, is also not particularly good against heavy vehicles. I guess it's lucky for GDI that Nod doesn't have many of those. Just the light tank and the flame tank coming up later, I think counts as having heavy armor. Yeah, GDI doesn't have any fixed base defenses that are good against heavily armored targets, which is a little strange. Okay, so how do we want to go about this? Well, we are going to need a squad of rocket soldiers to deal with
Building.
the orcas. I might want one more Humvee just to provoke the orcas and then lure them back into the waiting rocket soldier squad that I'm going to create.
Unit ready.
3 will be plenty. It doesn't take many to bring down an orca.
Construction complete.
There we go. And I guess we can start preparing the NG drop.
Building.
Alright, let's go close enough to the base to provoke the orcas. We'll have to deal with orcas pretty much from now on, since they've become available in the GDI campaign. It makes sense now that development on them is finished and they're being mass-produced. Why wouldn't we encounter them everywhere? That is an incredibly strong Grenadier. I mean, I'm sure he's just as strong as every other Grenadier, but dang, he took a lot of Humvee bullets. Well, that's another sacrifice to the airstrike. Okay, and our rocket soldiers are working on the orcas. Okay, that orca should come back. He should still be angry at the Humvee and come back for another pass. And rocket soldiers should finish it off then. I think it's actually not a bad design decision to have the AI utilize orcas in this defensive manner. Basically, if you get within a certain radius of them, they'll come out to attack you. I think that that probably works better than having them try to attack with the orcas. And it does force you, well, I mean, you can kind of get by without doing it, but it greatly encourages you to diversify your attacking force, so that instead of just having a mass of tanks, you actually have some anti-aircraft
Unit ready.
mixed in as well to deal with the orcas. Or at the very least, you have to use a simple tactic like lure the orcas out and lure them back into some anti-air that you have waiting.
Yes, sir.
Basically, it requires at least some kind of response on the part of the player. The other option is to ignore them and just let them inflict casualties on your attacking force until you get to their helipads and take them out.
Moving out. Waiting order.
Lost.
Okay, please get in. Oh, they're doing a hilarious dance, but hilarious though it is not useful, so please board the APC, sir.
Moving out.
Building.
Yes, sir. Ready and waiting.
Alright, we can continue our scouting efforts now that the orcas have been taken out. There's one entrance into the enemy base. There should be another one.
Moving out.
Now we do have the GDI gunboats patrolling this river, so this will be a dangerous point of approach for that reason.
Construction complete. Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Oh, no. Oh, and we found the gunboats and our scout is dead. Okay. C'est la vie. Or c'est la morte. I don't speak French. I don't know how to say anything.
Ready. Construction complete.
Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Moving out. Affirmative.
Okay.
You got it.
We're getting a respectable force of medium tanks.
Affirmative.
Construction.
We've got our NG drop ready.
Unit reporting.
I just need to have a better idea of the enemy's defensive posture.
Roger.
Oh, maybe we should go deal with that. Hey you, that's rude.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's go have a word with him.
Reporting. Moving out.
Construction complete.
Yes. Moving out.
Building.
Knowledge.
Now, I actually like
Yes, sir.
that
Unit reporting.
most of the units, except for just a couple with unique voices like the Commando, but most of the units in this game, they don't have weird unique voices. They just have generic sort of military kind of voices. I actually like that.
Construction complete.
I find that it contributes to the immersion because, I mean, I've never been in the military, so I wouldn't know, but I would expect that most official military communication is of this sort of professional caliber, right? And in future games where they try to just give all the units very goofy, distinctive voices, to me it just comes across as really cheesy and corny, and actually kind of detracts from the illusion that I'm a military commander commanding professional forces.
Yes, sir.
Now, one RTS that I think pulled that off was StarCraft. I do think that all the different units having their own unique voices in StarCraft worked well, but that's partly because StarCraft is a very different, much more cartoony game. Likewise for Warcraft 3. And because it's different, more cartoony, it can kind of pull that off better. But in games like this, where, at least on some level, it's trying to be a little bit more straight-laced in its presentation, I think it's better having the voices like this. It's just my opinion. It's probably a minority opinion. Okay, so here's the decision I've arrived at. I'm going to send my tank army. I think that's about a company of tanks, right? A platoon is about 4, and then a company is like 3 platoons-ish, I think. Something like that. Anyway, I'm going to send my company of tanks down to the shore to wipe out the gunboats, and then I'm going to try to hit the enemy's base from the east.
Building.
I wasn't really able to scout it out because the gunboats took out my scout, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be the better route of attack. I guess I'll construct a few minigunners to act as anti-infantry.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Construction complete. Building. Building. Unit ready. Building. Building. Unit ready.
Alright, fine. I won't try to chase them. We'll just get them on the return trip.
Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
There we go. That's my anti-infantry squad. 10 minigunners.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
I think we're ready to hit the enemy base, and I've got a good feeling this attack will be sufficient.
Construction complete.
So I think that my statement that by far the hardest part of this mission is the beginning. We've got that very fiddly, tiny squad that has to fight through a bunch of enemy forces. I think that statement has been vindicated. And then the minor puzzly element where you uncover this Nod base, you see that there's a GDI base to the south you have to capture, you have no funds, you have no engineers. You have to realize that the only way to get the funds you need to build engineers and capture the base is by selling your construction yard. Not a big deal, but, you know, you have to think a little bit. Especially the very first time you encounter that gimmick. Once you encounter it for the second, third, fourth time, it's much more obvious, but...
Yes, sir. You got it.
Okay, let's get them. Are we going to finish that one off? Hard to say. Alright, we got one. Now, they have severely damaged one tank, unless he was already damaged to begin with, so they're not worthless against heavy armor. But they're not great,
Building.
unlike against buildings, infantry, and light armor. I think they use a very similar weapon, or maybe even the same one, as the advanced guard towers, so that's why they have the exact same characteristics. Good against everything except heavy armor. There we go. Alright, now we can actually bust through this entrance without being harassed from the water.
Building.
Actually, you know what? Let's have some funds ready to build a foothold in the enemy base.
Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit report. Moving out. Waiting orders. Moving out.
Construction complete.
So this is pretty much just a mirror match, this mission, GDI versus GDI, which is cool. It's neat to have some mirror matches in the campaign because that is a more, you know, it's a variation from Faction 1 versus Faction 2 to have Faction 1 versus Faction 1 and Faction 2 versus Faction 2. Although I don't think we get any Nod versus Nod. At least not any mandatory Nod versus Nod in the entirety of the official campaign, as I recall. That looks like an orca pad. Once you've destroyed enemy orcas, the AI will never rebuild them. Ah, what's this walled-off crate here, eh? So this is something we don't want to miss. This is very important. Recognize that icon, or that little animation? That was the same animation that appeared when we got that nuclear crate from that one mission. That's not a coincidence that it is the same animation. Oh, they rebuilt this guard tower. Quite irritatingly. Alright, let's just trundle on through with our tank company. The fact that there's just these narrow entrances into the enemy base makes it a little tricky to get in here. Our guys are all spread out. Alright, let's get in here with the engineers. Leave their harvester alone. I want to capture it. We will, however, destroy their barracks. Leave the harvester alone, guys. Leave the harvester alone. Okay, good. Where is my other engineer? Nope, he never unloaded. APCs and Chinooks are very finicky in this game. Let's go get the enemy's construction yard. And start wiping out their power plants. Okay, so this was overkill. We had way more forces than we needed. Yeah, way more forces than we needed. This would have been a much tougher mission if the AI wasn't continuously bugging out and trying to get our forces across the river. If they were actually launching more attacks on our base, this clearly would have been quite a bit more challenging. Okay, how about... I didn't tell you to attack that, so how about you don't? Idiots! What are you doing? Oh, maybe... I think a medium tank spawned in there and they were attacking the medium tank. That would explain their odd behavior. Actually, can I capture the orca pads and build orcas? That would be fun.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
GDI building captured.
Nope, can't build orcas. That's lame.
Building.
Whatever.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
I'll start capturing the enemy's Tiberium silos.
Building.
This mission is clearly over. I guess I'll send my infantry squad to go up and destroy the enemy's infantry squad. Maybe start building some guys up here for that purpose.
Unit ready. GDI building captured. Building.
Oh.
Primary building
Right,
selected.
can't build at multiple barracks at once. That is not how it works in this game.
Unit ready.
Moving out.
GDI building captured. Building. GDI building captured.
Reporting.
Unit ready. GDI building captured.
Yes, sir.
Unit
Roger.
ready.
Moving out. Reporting.
Oh, there's an enemy medium tank. Let's go say hello.
Getting out. You got it. Reporting. Yes, sir.
Bunch of medium tanks. Imagine if all those medium tanks had been attacking our base. This would have been quite a bit more difficult. Oh, and those guys just stood there and let us kill them.
Not a problem. Waiting orders. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Uh-oh, he's gonna squish us! Run!
Right away, sir. Affirmative.
Oh man, that squish noise.
Moving out. Reporting. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
I don't know if these are the last enemy forces. Oh, nope, there's a guy there.
Awaiting orders.
Primary building selected. Building.
Don't let him squish us! Run!
Unit.
A pair of grenadiers should be able to take out that infantry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This guy might be the last thing on the map. So, I will make a save here. Nod 8.
Yes, sir.
And he was not the last thing on the map. Alright, what remains? Aha!
Yes, sir.
Hello there.
Reporting. Yes, sir.
This stupid guard tower.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Interesting. So an APC can outrange a guard tower. That just goes to show how terrible guard tower range is.
Primary building selected.
Good grief.
Building.
And he's repairing it. The APC will never be able to beat the repair.
Construction complete.
Just to have an even more unnecessarily large amount of money, let's sell the construction yard we captured in the enemy's base.
Unit reporting. Acknowledge.
That is a durable guard tower. Alright, now let's make a save. We did it. No victory video for us this time. Alright, that took us a little while, so that's going to be it for this video. Next time we're going to do the other variation of this mission, which is pretty much the same thing, just on a different map. Hopefully you'll join me for that, and I'll see you then.